Before we begin, just a few simple things to support this experience. This session is designed to help you settle, focus inward, and gently work with patterns around self-worth and imposter feelings. Hypnosis is a natural state of focused awareness, an experience you actively participate in. By just allowing and giving permission for your mind to engage in a way that feels comfortable and appropriate for you. Choose a quiet, comfortable space where you won't be interrupted, and if you can, silence any notifications and remove distractions, giving yourself permission to let this time be just for you. This recording isn't intended to be used while driving, operating machinery, or doing anything that requires your full attention. It's best listened to only when you can safely relax. As you listen, you may notice your mind drifting or wandering at times, and that's completely normal. There's no right or wrong way to experience this. There's just your way, and nothing you need to get perfect. You don't need to concentrate or visualize clearly or make anything happen. Simply listening is enough, as your mind will naturally take what's useful from this experience and gently leave the rest. As you may have settled in now, finding that comfortable position where your body can simply begin to let go. That's right. You just allow it to let go. And as you take a deep breath in through your nose, noticing how the air moves through your body, you might already feel a subtle shift, a quieting, a settling. Notice how, with each exhale, there's an invitation, an opportunity for your shoulders to drop just a little bit lower, or perhaps at your jaw, or maybe even both at once. And that's perfectly fine, because your unconscious mind already knows exactly what needs to relax first. As you breathe normally now, in and out, in and out, you might begin to notice the rhythm becomes almost automatic, like your body has been waiting for permission to simply breathe, to simply drift. And as the outside world begins to fade into the background, maybe you might notice your eyelids becoming a little bit heavy, or perhaps they're already closed. Either way, you're moving deeper with every breath in and out. You might notice the feel of heaviness in your hands or lightness in your arms, or maybe both sensations at once, spreading through your body like a warm blanket being drawn around you. And whatever you experience is exactly what you need to experience right now. Some people find that their legs become anchored, heavy and comfortable, while others feel a gentle floating sensation throughout their entire being. Both are signs of deep relaxation. Both are perfect. Or maybe you just feel like you're lying down or sitting in a chair, listening to the words that I say. And that's okay, because as you remember now, there's no right way, there is no wrong way, there's just your way. And as your conscious mind might be wondering, what happens next? And that's a beautiful thought to have, because your unconscious mind already knows exactly where we're going, already knows what needs to shift, already has the wisdom waiting for you in the depths. And as you continue to drift deeper with each word you hear, you might start to wonder, what part of you, the part that's been carrying these heavy beliefs about who you are, what part of that is finally ready to let them go? And your conscious mind doesn't need to answer. In fact, the answer is already unfolding deeper and deeper into the quiet spaces of your mind. That's right. And now, imagine or simply sense that you're in a place of profound safety, a sanctuary. It could be a garden, could be a forest, or it could be a beach, or simply a space that exists only in your mind. A place where the noise of the world, the doubts, the critical voice, all of that begins to fade away like distant thunder. Notice what you see around you. Colors, light, shadows. Don't force it. Just simply allow whatever arises to be there. Maybe it's soft greens or warm golds or cool blues. Or perhaps it's more of a feeling of light itself. And as you notice these sights, what do you hear? What do you imagine? Perhaps the sound of wind, or the sound of water, or simply the profound silence of a space that's only yours. Your breathing is the only sound that matters now. And what do you feel? Is it the warmth of air on your skin, the ground beneath you, solid and real and safe? With each and every breath, you give yourself permission to sink deeper. With every heartbeat, you drift further into this place where only truth exists. You've already begun this journey, and as you listen to my voice, like a guide walking beside you in this sacred space, you may find it even easier to drift deeper and deeper still. The part of you that usually works so hard, that questions everything, that doubts itself, that part can simply rest now. It can lay down the burden just for these moments, just for now. And as that part relaxes, as it releases its grip, something else emerges, something that's always been there, a knowing, a presence, the part of you that is fundamentally whole. That's right, going deeper and deeper still, where the real truth lives. And now, I'm going to tell you a story. And not a story you need to understand with your conscious mind, but a story your deeper self will recognize as truth, as your truth. Once upon a time, there was a jeweler, a master craftsman, and this jeweler had been given at birth a stone unlike any other. Inside this stone was light, infinite, radiant light. Light that could heal, light that could transform, light that could illuminate entire rooms, entire lives. And as you hear this, you might notice your breathing deepening, maybe even slowing, or even becoming more rhythmic. And here's what happened to this jeweler. Early in life, someone, perhaps a teacher, a parent, a voice from the past, told this jeweler that the stone wasn't quite right, not quite perfect, not quite polished enough, not quite brilliant enough to be shown. And so, after a period of time, this jeweler began to believe it. Not consciously choosing to believe, but absorbing it like water into soil, absorbing it into the very foundation of who this jeweler was. And with that belief, the jeweler stopped showing the stone, stopped letting its light shine, kept it wrapped, covered, hidden away in a box. Because if no one could see it, then no one could judge it, then no one could confirm with that voice that had whispered, "You're not enough." And as I tell you this, you're drifting deeper, deeper into understanding, deeper into recognition. But one day, something changed. The jeweler, tired of hiding, tired of the weight of that wrapped stone. And in that tiredness, a question arose. What if that voice was wrong? Not intellectually, not something to think about, but something to know. In the deep places, in the places where your truest self lives. And as the jeweler sat with that question, something remarkable began to happen. The wrappings around the stone, they didn't disappear all at once. Instead, a small corner became visible, just a tiny corner at the start. And even in that small glimpse, light emerged. Soft light, warm light, light that had been waiting all along. And here's what the jeweler discovered, and this is important, so let it sink deep. The stone was never imperfect. It was never flawed. It had always been exactly as it was meant to be. The imperfections, the unique patterns, the slight variations in color, these weren't mistakes. They were the signature of authenticity. They were proof of realness. They were the very things that made the light shine differently, uniquely, and powerfully. And as the jeweler began to unwrap layer by layer, not all at once, but gradually, naturally, something shifted in the jeweler's chest. A recognition, a remembering. This was always mine. This light was always mine. I don't need permission to shine. And now, I want you to consider something. Consider deeply. Not with your thinking mind, but with the knowing part of you that recognizes truth when it hears it. You are that jeweler. You have always been that jeweler. The stone you carry, the light you hold, it was given to you. Not by accident, not by mistake, but deliberately, specifically, for a reason. Because the world needs exactly what you have to offer. Your unique gifts, your particular genius, your specific way of seeing and being and creating. And those voices, the ones that said you weren't enough, those were never the truth. They were lies whispered by people who may have been frightened of their own light. And fear loves company. Fear loves to convince others that they should dim themselves too. But you're beginning to see through that now. Even as you sit here in this deep place, you're beginning to unwrap layer by layer, slowly, naturally, inevitably. And I want you to imagine now, or simply sense yourself, maybe 1 month from now, you're going about your day and something happens. Someone asks you a question, or you face a challenge, or an opportunity appears. And in that moment, you notice something different. You notice that a small voice has quieted, that the doubt has softened, that you're moving forward, not from arrogance, but from a quiet, unshakable knowing. You belong here. You are enough. Your light matters. And in that future moment, you might not even realize how much has shifted. You might simply notice that you spoke up in the meeting, that you shared your idea, that you created in some way, that you expressed yourself, not perfectly, but authentically, and that was always the entire point. And as you continue drifting in this safe place, I want to take you even deeper, back to maybe the first moment when you first absorbed that belief, that voice, that idea that you weren't quite right. And from this place, from this state of deep wisdom, I want you to see it differently. See that child, see that person, the one who heard that voice, and notice they were just learning. They were vulnerable. They were open. And they didn't have the tools, didn't have the understanding to know that what they were hearing was not the truth. It was just opinion, just fear, just one person's limitation being handed down. And now you can give that child, that younger self, what they needed then. You can let them know you were always okay. You always had worth. The light was never broken. It was only covered. And as you do this, something releases, something that's been held for so long finally lets go. And now, stepping forward into today, into this moment, into the person you are becoming, notice that the layers are looser now, the wrappings are falling away. Not all of them. You don't need to be completely unwrapped, but enough. Enough so that your light can shine. Enough so that you can begin to trust yourself. Enough so that with each passing day, each small act of courage, each moment you choose authenticity over protection, the wrappings become looser still. And here's what your deeper self already knows. You don't need to be perfect to be worthy. You don't need to be flawless to deserve success. You don't need permission from anyone else. The only permission that matters is the one you're giving yourself right now. That's right. Installing that in, deep into the foundation. And with each word, with each breath, with each moment you spend in this place, the changes are becoming real, not imaginary, real, because your unconscious mind doesn't distinguish between imagination and reality in this state. For your deeper self, this is as real as the ground beneath you. And so, from this moment forward, even as you return to the outside world, these understandings travel with you. They settle into your bones. They become part of how you move through life. Each time you face a moment of doubt, your deeper self will remember this. will remember the jeweler, will remember that the light was never broken, and that whisper, that quiet, confident whisper, will be louder than the doubt. Each time you're about to do something meaningful, something that requires you to shine, you might notice your body relaxing into a quiet confidence, not cockiness, not arrogance, but a knowing, a rightness. And if you notice a place in your body where this feeling lives, perhaps in your chest or your belly or your hands, you can simply notice it. And that sensation will grow stronger each time you access it. And whether you notice these changes immediately, or whether you only realize them later, when you're already feeling different, already acting differently, already being different, that's perfectly fine, because the change is already happening. It's already real. Your unconscious mind is already integrating this, already shifting the foundation, already beginning to rewrite the story from I'm not enough to I have always been enough. And now, as you sit in this place, I want you to know something that comes not from me, but from the deepest, truest part of you. You have always possessed everything you need. Every talent, every ability, every capacity, every gift. They're not things you need to earn. They're not things you need to prove. They're inherent and they're yours. The imposter syndrome, the belief that you don't deserve your seat at the table, this was never about reality. It was about a story someone else wrote, a story you absorbed, a story you've been carrying around like a heavy coat in summer. And you're beginning to put that coat down now, not all at once, but layer by layer, moment by moment. And here's what happens when you do. The people around you don't run away. They don't suddenly realize you're a fraud. Instead, they see you more clearly. They feel your authenticity. They're drawn to your realness, because authenticity is magnetic. Authenticity is what people are hungry for. And your unique way of being, your particular genius, it's not a liability. It's an asset. It's exactly what the world needs from you. So your unconscious mind, your deepest self, is receiving this now, this knowing, this truth, and it's being woven into the very fabric of who you are, not as something foreign, but as something that's finally coming home. And I want you to imagine now, or sense yourself 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now. Notice how you're moving through the world. Notice the quiet confidence, not arrogance, not aggression, but a calm, steady knowing that you belong here, that your voice matters, that your contributions are valuable. Notice the choices you're making different now, braver now, more authentic now, because you're no longer running the fear of being found out. You're running toward something, toward your purpose, toward your potential, toward the life you actually want to live. And notice the people you've attracted, the opportunities you've created, the impact you've made, all because you were willing to unwrap, to shine, to be seen. This future self, this version of you that's already becoming real, they're already grateful. Grateful for this moment, grateful for the decisions you're making right now to release this old story, to trust yourself, to allow your light to shine. And as you embody this future self right here, right now, feel the solidness of it, the realness. This is not fantasy. This is potential becoming actual. Your deeper mind is already beginning the journey. The wrappings are loosening, the light is emerging, and there's no going back, only forward, only deeper into your own power. And now, as we begin to prepare for your return, I want to give your deeper mind some specific instructions. Instructions that will guide you even after you open your eyes. From this moment forward, whenever you feel that familiar doubt beginning to arise, that voice that says you're not quite good enough, something shifts. A recognition. And in that moment, you'll remember something. You might not remember it consciously, but you'll feel it in your body, in your bones, and knowing that that's not the truth. That's just the old story. And that knowing will be enough. Enough to pause, enough to choose differently, enough to step forward anyway. And whether you notice this change immediately, or whether you only realize it later, when you're already speaking up, already creating, already shining, that's perfectly fine. Because the change is already underway. Your unconscious mind has already accepted this, has already begun rewiring itself. And imagine stepping forward into every day of your future. Each morning you wake up and there's a subtle difference, a lightness, a sense that today you get to be yourself fully, authentically, without apology. And in each interaction, in each moment you could hide or shrink, something inside you will gently, persistently invite you to shine instead. Not perfectly, never perfectly, but genuinely. And that will always be enough. And in a moment's time, I'm going to allow a moment of silence to let everything that I've said today sink deep into the subconscious mind. And that time will start now. That's right, just allowing that processing to go on into the background now to do what it needs to allow any new change to take place, to allow any new resources or insights to come up to the surface from now and moving forward. And when you give that permission to do so, you can slowly start coming back into the room, slowly start coming back into the body, maybe allowing the toes and fingers to wiggle, moving to the limbs, the arms and legs, maybe having a little stretch if you feel the need to or want to, starting to feel a bit more present in the body. And when you're ready, you can come back fully when you open your eyes.